Right now, I'm sitting in my apartment, counting the money from a deal that still feels unreal. $1 million. Yeah, $1 million. But it all started with a random garage sale on a Saturday morning. I didn't plan to go, honestly. I was just bored and wandering around the neighborhood. The sun was out and there were people everywhere, dragging tables full of old junk. I'm not gonna lie, I almost walked past it. But something caught my eye. A small, dusty box in the corner. It looked like someone had forgotten it. I bent down. Inside were a bunch of old electronics and gadgets. Most of it was junk. Broken radios, tangled cords, old calculators. But then I saw this one thing. It was small, kind of weird looking, and had no brand name. I had no clue what it was, but something inside me said, "Buy it, just buy it." I handed the old lady $10 and walked away with that tiny box, thinking, what did I just do? Little did I know, that $10 purchase was about to change everything. I got home and stared at the little gadget on my kitchen table. Honestly, I had no idea what it did. I plugged it in, pressed a few buttons, nothing. So I did what any broke, curious guy would do. I Googled the hell out of it. Hours passed, and then my jaw literally dropped. This thing wasn't just a random old gadget. It was a prototype of a discontinued tech device, something collectors would kill to get. I read forums, watched eBay listings. People were paying hundreds, even thousands of dollars for these things. I looked at my $10 purchase. No way! I posted it online. Within an hour, I got 3 offers, 200, 350, 400. I laughed. From $10 to 400? This is insane. I sold it for $400, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. I realized maybe there's a hidden gold mine in garage sales. The next weekend, I was back out, walking through neighborhoods, digging through tables, hunting for forgotten treasures. And the more I looked, the more I found stuff that people didn't even know was valuable. I was addicted. Every weekend I'd find another hidden gem. Some weeks it was $50, some weeks $200. Sometimes a few items sold for thousands. I started seeing a pattern. Old tech gadgets, vintage toys, limited edition items. People were leaving money on the table, and I was picking it up. Little did I know, this hobby was about to explode into a full-blown business.
I wasn't just wandering around anymore. I was hunting treasures like a pro. Every garage sale, thrift store, and flea market became a potential gold mine. I kept a little notebook with every item's value, resale price, and demand. And the more I sold, the more I realized this could actually be a real business. So I started investing a little more. $100 here for a rare toy, $50 there for a vintage gadget. Some people thought I was crazy. Friends, why are you spending all your money on junk? Neighbors, you'll never make a living off that stuff. But deep down, I felt the thrill. Then came the moment that changed everything. I walked into a flea market and my eyes locked on a dusty old crate in the corner. Inside, a stack of vintage tech devices. Boxes still sealed, original manuals, rare prototypes. I asked the seller how much. He said, $50 for the lot. I laughed. $50 for all of this? I handed him the cash and walked away with my biggest haul yet. I spent that night researching every single item. I discovered that a single device in that crate could sell for over $5,000. I couldn't sleep. I realized I just stumbled onto a gold mine. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't just a hobby anymore. This was my ticket to $1 million business. I started planning seriously. A website to sell items, professional photos for listings, shipping logistics. The idea was simple. Find rare items, buy cheap, sell high, repeat. And I was hooked. By the next month, my little garage sale hustle had turned into a full-on operation. I wasn't just buying a few items here and there. I was hitting multiple sales every weekend. Flea markets, estate sales, thrift stores. I knew them all. I even started networking with sellers, getting tips about hidden valuables before the crowds even arrived. And the profits, they were exploding. $400 here, $700 there, then $5,000 from that one rare prototype I scored. I was shaking. I realized this could actually make me rich. I built a small system, a dedicated room for storing items, a desk with a laptop for listings, boxes, packaging materials, shipping labels. I started listing items online, eBay, collector forums, niche Facebook groups. Orders started rolling in from all over the country. And then came a crazy day. I got an offer for $50,000 for a batch of rare vintage electronics. I nearly fell over. Me? Selling old stuff for 50 grand? It was surreal. But it proved something important. I wasn't just lucky. I had a system. I had an eye for valuable things. I even started investing profits into bigger buys, larger estate sales, rare collectible lots, things most people ignored. By the end of that month, my total revenue hit $100,000, and I knew this was just the beginning. I was no longer just a guy finding junk at sales. I was a collector, a trader, a small business owner, and on my way to $1 million.
By the next month, my little garage sale hustle had turned into a full-on operation. I wasn't just buying a few items here and there. I was hitting multiple sales every weekend. Flea markets, estate sales, thrift stores, I knew them all. I even started networking with sellers, getting tips about hidden valuables before the crowds even arrived. And the profits? They were exploding. $400 here, $700 there, then $5,000 from that one rare prototype I scored. I was shaking. I realized this could actually make me rich. I built a small system, a dedicated room for storing items, a desk with a laptop for listings, boxes, packaging materials, shipping labels. I started listing items online, eBay, collector forums, niche Facebook groups. Orders started rolling in from all over the country. And then came a crazy day. I got an offer for $50,000 for a batch of rare vintage electronics. I nearly fell over. Me? Selling old stuff for 50 grand? It was surreal, but it proved something important. I wasn't just lucky. I had a system. I had an eye for valuable things. I even started investing profits into bigger buys, larger estate sales, rare collectible lots, things most people ignored. By the end of that month, my total revenue hit $100,000, and I knew this was just the beginning. I was no longer just a guy finding junk at sales. I was a collector, a trader, a small business owner, and on my way to $1 million.
By now, my weekends were packed. I was hitting 3, sometimes 4 garage sales a day. I had a dedicated storage room, shelves stacked floor to ceiling with items, all meticulously cataloged. Orders were coming in constantly, eBay notifications dinging nonstop, emails from collectors across the country, offers I couldn't even believe. One morning, I logged in and saw a single item offer for $12,000. I literally dropped my coffee. I started thinking bigger. Partner with estate sale companies for early access, attend auctions for rare tech and toys, build a brand around vintage finds. I hired a couple of helpers to manage shipping and packaging. The scale was getting intense. Hundreds of orders weekly, rare items constantly coming in, customer service nonstop. Some days I wanted to throw in the towel. Shipping mistakes, damaged goods, complaints. But then came the big break. A collector from another state offered $100,000 for a single batch of rare electronics I'd been holding for weeks. I couldn't believe it. One deal, $100K in my bank account from junk I found at a garage sale. It hit me hard. I wasn't just making money. I was on track to becoming a millionaire. And the craziest part? I still loved it. The thrill of the hunt, the adrenaline of scoring something no one else noticed. I knew I needed to think bigger or risk plateauing. So I started building systems, professional storage and climate control, a mini warehouse for high-value items, tracking software for inventory and shipping. Suddenly, the little hobby that started with $10 in a dusty box was turning into a real scalable business.
By now, my garage sale hustle had exploded. I wasn't just a guy picking up random gadgets on weekends. I was running a real operation. 3 storage rooms stacked with items, shelves labeled meticulously, rare tech, vintage toys, collector's items, a small team helping with packaging and shipping. I remember one night sitting alone at 1 a.m. surrounded by boxes. I had orders lined up for the next 2 weeks, and I was shipping items to 5 different states. It was exhilarating, but terrifying. I started thinking strategically. What if I could find estates and auctions early before the general public? What if I could build a brand that collectors would trust and follow? So I invested. $2,000 for a rare tech lot, $1,500 for collectible toys, $3,000 for an estate sale that seemed risky. At first, I worried I was blowing too much money, but then the results came in. $12,000 from a single rare gadget, $25,000 from a batch of vintage electronics, $8,000 from collectible toys I thought were small time. I was literally shaking, staring at my bank account. I realized I could hit 7 figures within a year. The adrenaline was insane. But it wasn't just about money. It was about the thrill of finding treasures no one else saw, buying them for pennies, and selling them for insane amounts. I also learned the hard way. Some deals fall through. Some items get damaged during shipping. Some buyers are nightmare collectors. And yet, each failure taught me something. I started documenting everything: how to spot valuable items fast, what to ignore, how to negotiate like a pro, how to ship delicate items safely. I even started building relationships with estate agents and collectors, giving me exclusive first dibs on rare items. Orders kept multiplying, hundreds of shipments every week, boxes labeled, photographed, and tracked meticulously. Then one morning, I got a call from a national collector. "We want all of your rare electronics. Can you deliver by next month?" I felt my stomach drop. This was the deal of my life. Weeks of planning followed. I optimized shipping, hired temporary staff, packed and insured items, cross-checked every single gadget. When I finally got the deposit, $250,000 in one transaction, my hands were shaking. At that moment, I realized I was officially a millionaire in the making. And the crazy part? I had started with $10 and a dusty garage sale box. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the stacked boxes, and whispered, "This is just the beginning." The next challenge? Scaling beyond weekends and local sales. Online marketplace domination, national brand recognition, exclusive collector contracts. I knew one thing for sure: the hustle never stops.
Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. See you in the next story.